I'm a proud citizen of this continent, of this country called Botswana. I started off my career as an analyst, analyzing companies, analyzing processes and systems, and grew through the ranks within government to ultimately get into private sector for a stint of about 4 or 5 years, and then proceeded back into government. So I've done strategy, HR. I've also done predominantly my job, which has been transformation and reforming organizations and improving processes. So I've gone through the ranks and rose up to many levels in these different organizations until ultimately in Botswana government, where I became a permanent secretary and then ultimately permanent secretary to the president. And my experience has also put me here in this organization. Prior to this role, I was director of human resource and administration in this SADC. So it's not a fairly new environment, and I'm familiar with some of its operations, its processes, though I'm now operating at a much higher and different role. Our forefathers, when they concepted this organization, they wanted to achieve economic development for the region. They also wanted to come together collectively and ensure that there is peace and security within the region. So I think we find ourselves 41 years later that those become very key tenets for the community or Southern African Development Community. So it's still to make sure that we achieve the ideals of our forefathers. We now have a strategy in place. We also have a Vision 2050, predominantly that advocate for emancipation of the people within this region, from poverty to actually prosperity, to make sure that people are safe, to make sure that people are economically successful and they feel happy and are free to actually move around the region. So what do I see? 10 years, we already have a strategy in place, the revised Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan, or RSDP for short. That spans 10 years, so 2020 to 2030. So my take is that at the end of the 10-year period, I should see a vast move towards regional integration. We have put the pillars in place. I think the strategies are there, the policies are there, the protocols are there. But it's actually now seeing movement in that direction. So you must see increased trade between countries, removal of non-tariff barriers from this region completely, free movements of goods, services, people like you and I, tourists, students, everybody must be moving around, movement of capital. That shows that indeed there is that regional integration and actually there is trade that is going on. That's the one piece. The second is industrialization. We've already picked 3 areas as a region that we want to focus on. Industrialization means really industries are actually developing manufacturing products instead of exporting them in the raw form. So we must make sure that those 3 areas, which is pharmaceuticals, agro-processing, and mineral beneficiation, actually take fruition. So this region is well awash with mineral wealth, and therefore we've been exporting it in raw form. So industrialization means we beneficiate, we make sure that all the value chains within these areas, they're actually closed. If there are any gaps, we close them. So that's a very important aspect. I think the third is to enjoy and see peace in this region. It has been a very peaceful region. I think it's been an envy of many other regions, but we still do have those pockets of opportunity for destabilization and so forth. So if we see peaceful political stability, naturally it gives rise to peace and security in the region, because oftentimes political stability or instability is a source of pain, and then it causes a lot of unrest in either a member state or regional. For the Secretariat itself, staff, people like me and my colleagues who come here, they must feel connected to creating this thing that I've just described. Obviously, behind this is the tools, the systems, and so forth, including the 4IR, using technology to actually achieve most of these things.